Uh, we're broadcasting live.
We are
Sorry.
going live here. We are with Hector Vergara, MSA Executive Director. Haven't talked to Hector in a couple of months. Soccer is on the go. It's flowing. It's moving. We talked about the word fluid. The bottom line is, much like every other sport with its return to play, we are getting some answers and opportunity for soccer to continue on the pitches. Hector, I want to thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. I know you're a very busy individual, so let's get right to it. One thing that has been going on consistently has been the Canada Summer Game tryouts for both the males and the females. Talk about the competitive nature and how that's been able to progress here during the summer.
Well, the Canada Games tryouts started last week or so, and 2 weeks ago, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a weekend event where they had tryouts for over 70 male players and over 65 or so female players, and they took place at the Ralph Contafio Soccer Complex. Tryouts both on Saturday and Sunday, and it's ongoing. They've reduced the numbers from those large number of players to about approximately 35 or so players on both sides, males and females, and they will continue that tryout this weekend. And the aim, obviously, is to prepare the Canada Summer Games teams for the competition next year. The aim is at the end of the day, you have to have a roster of 18 players. So the staff is working through, obviously, with the coaches and everybody else to get everything organized, and we hope for good weather this weekend to continue that tryout and take it from there. So it's one of those other programs that we've tried to work around the fact that we have COVID-19 in our lives now, and try to do that through a process where it is fair to everybody to give an opportunity to participate. And we were very happy to see the large number of players that were interested in participating in the tryouts and signed up for the tryouts, and we'll proceed for the next weekend or so, and then prepare the next set of. There'll be mini camps coming up as well for the players that continue in the program, and so forth, as we get ready for the competition next August and 2021, and hopefully we will be able to have that competition because hopefully a year from now we have a vaccine in place for the virus, and COVID-19 maybe is less of an issue in our lives by that time. So hopefully everything works out.
That's a lot of numbers. And you said 70 and 65 respectively, down to 18. That's a hard job for those coaches and those scouting assignments for those individuals. What is the age group that's involved with the Canada Summer Games? And then you mentioned perhaps this could be a developmental program as well for ongoing players in camps for later on Canada Summer Games.
So under 17 is the age category of these players, and obviously these we hope to best select by position, because obviously a soccer team is made up of goalkeeper, defenders, midfielders, and attackers, and so you will need to eventually have a mix of players, and hopefully a strong team to compete at the Canada Summer Games next August. Obviously, this is a high performance program for us, and these players will have opportunities, not only hopefully in some cases through the Canada Summer Games program, to be seen by scouts of maybe colleges and also universities, and to some degree on the boys' side, the professional environments, and even the girls' side, why not, the professional environment as well, and as well as other opportunities that it may exist for them in the future. So it's a big deal for them, and for a lot of the athletes, this is the only opportunity that they'll ever have in their lifetime to participate in a multi-sport competition. I mean, Canada Summer Games, we're one of the sports in the games, and the Canada Summer Games involves many other entities, many other disciplines, and therefore to be an environment with an athletes village and officials village and enough competition for 2 weeks is something that's very, very important. So Canada Summer is similar to Western Canada Summer Games, which also happens in our midst and in some cycles. The Canada Summer Games obviously is across the country, involves every province, and it's a huge experience for all the participants. It's the style of an Olympic Games, right? And for them, in some way or another is the only way they're going to ever participate in a games environment. So looking forward to it, and looking forward to seeing good teams come out of that.
Absolutely. It's an environment, it's a culture, it's an experience unlike any other. When you get have that opportunity to be part of the select few that get to play either in a Canada Summer Game, and like you said, also these competitions can lead to further endeavors, both being a student athlete or being a professional in the male and female programs all over North America. So we're seeing a lot more Canadian soccer players all over the world, especially even in Europe. Some of the big signings that have happened there over recent years. The ongoing return to play guidelines here in Winnipeg, Hector, have been very challenging for all the sports. Tell us about some of the leagues that have been able to continue, some of the camps that are continuing throughout this summer, and what kind of guidelines have we had to follow within the soccer world?
Well, the Manitoba Soccer Association, together with Canada Soccer, Sport Manitoba, the provincial health authorities, our partners, meaning the clubs, the leagues, we all cooperated in developing eventually the Manitoba Soccer Association returned to participation guidelines, and we went through stages 1, 2, and 3, with stage 1 being simple training sessions with some limited contact, and stage 2 allowing some contact, and then stage 3 where we actually could play full games in the leagues. And we eventually got to stage 3 in the process by the middle of July. The leagues started to compete. That means the youth competitions and the men's and women's competitions in our province, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to continue that. So we've had all clubs practicing and participating in league competition, and now we're into the middle of August and heading towards the end of it, with still ongoing competition. Obviously, it's been a reduced schedule for some because of the timelines. And we are urging everybody, considering the difficulties that we've had now in the last little bit with the number of COVID-19 cases in the province, that the protocols continue to be followed. Physical distancing and sanitization of equipment, and being diligent in how you behave and where you are, and all of these things that are all part of the protocols. We're urging all our members, clubs, the leagues themselves, to try and reinforce these, parents and players to apply them, so that we keep the risk minimal. Obviously, with everything that's going on in the province, there is a limited risk. We know that, but if we follow the protocols as much as possible, we are mitigating that risk. So, at the end of the day, we want to continue to see soccer being played in the province. As you mentioned earlier, it's not only our sport, but many other sports are going through the same thing. And now there's more opportunities for potentially acquiring the virus, because of the fact that there's so many more people in the province that have it now than they had it, let's say 3-4 weeks ago. So if we're all being diligent in our sport, it limits the possibilities of becoming one of those victims. So at the end, it's amongst everyone in the community to work together to be able to reduce the risk.
Reducing the risk and following that protocol is vital to getting those numbers back into normal and getting as close to zero as possible. Hector, like you said, tell me about, like, we talk about the clubs and the organizations, the leagues. How important is their feedback with regards to player safety and protocol during the games, the facilities they're using? How important is to get that feedback to you so that we're able to maintain a healthy protocol and a healthy set of guidelines for the sport to continue and still prosper?
Well, there's a couple of things. There's the league competitions. There's also been the events. We've hosted some festival activities, and it's always good to get feedback from games and from events like the festivals that we've hosted in the summer. Limited number of festivals, obviously, and applying the protocols, getting the feedback from them. And we've asked them recently just to provide additional feedback on what experiences they've had in the outdoor season. Obviously, return to participate guidelines for the outdoor are a little more flex, a little more, how can I say, we have the requirements are a little bit different, as the health authorities have told us, when it's outdoor play versus indoor play. And now like I said earlier, we're finishing the outdoor competition into September, October. We're already preparing as an organization for the return to participate and return to play guidelines for indoor, which is a totally different animal than the outdoor game, in the sense of now you're talking about closed play spaces, you're talking about indoor facilities versus outdoor facilities. You need to follow slightly different protocols, and we're working with the facilities to get their feedback on the documentation that we're preparing, and we're asking also the leagues and the members to provide us with any feedback on what they experienced through the outdoor season, so that we can use that to help us guide our documents and prepare for the indoor season and keep us participating. Because at the end of the day, if the numbers go in the wrong direction and continue to go in the wrong direction, as they have in the last couple of weeks, it would mean that we have to double think about whether or not we continue to play indoor and put people at risk. And that is something that is obviously at the front of everybody's thinking, that we need to maintain the well-being of the community, the well-being of our players and coaches and participants, volunteers at every level. So we need to make sure that any feedback that we get is considered and potentially included in the guidelines that are going to be prepared for the indoor season. And, again, it's important for us to be as safe as possible.
That indoor season you mentioned, Hector, you've got most of the guidelines and the preparations already with the vocabulary and the current settings you have with outdoor. Just a little changes with the indoor game because it is an indoor facility. I know it's a little bit less players on the pitch at the same time, so a little more space, but not really, because it's a smaller venue as well. Do you foresee a potential for the indoor season to start on time, or is that all based on the fact of whether or not you get those passing grades from the authorities above to begin play and begin practice indoor?
Well, our return to participate guidelines essentially say that we will follow the health authorities' direction. They do not need to be reapproved. So we have approval. Our revisions have to follow the guidelines of the health authorities, which we're keeping that in mind. So if there's a reduction in the number of individuals that can be allowed in an indoor facility, that we will apply that through the return to play protocols. We expect that we will start on time for the indoor season. That may be obviously impacted if, as we move through the next couple of weeks and months here, if the guidelines from the health authorities change one way or another, that may impact. In fact, it will impact the protocols because it might dictate how much we can do and how much the leagues themselves. Right now, they're used to having a certain type of schedule for the competition. Sometimes in the competition, you may have in an indoor facility 4 games going on at once, which increases the number of people in the facility. It might mean that they may need to reduce that schedule to maybe 2 games at a time. So there's so many factors that need to be taken into consideration, and the leagues are also going to go through this process as we get closer to the start of the season. The reality too is that there's some parents, and rightly so, some adult players who may choose not to participate, and it's understandable why. There is the issue of indoor facilities, not only for playing soccer, but there is the indoor facilities that some of the soccer organizations, clubs, etc., may use for training purposes in the indoor season. As you know, obviously with our snow on the ground, there's no training outdoors going on, so it's got to be all indoors. And school gymnasiums are a very good option for many. However, you have to think that the schools are going to go through their own protocols, and what will they do in regards to facilities being available for the community, and whether there's going to be rentals of those facilities for different sports. We are in that same boat, so we have to figure out how can we help our members go through this process in regards to the number of facilities that they can rent, or are there going to be any for them to rent, and how does that impact competition? Are we looking at training and playing in the indoor season? Are we looking just at training, just at playing? There's a whole bunch of things that still need to be answered, and it's, I know that the community at large and the soccer community wants answers. We get that. However, as you mentioned earlier in the conversation, this is a very fluid time for everyone, not just in the sports world, but in the entire community, whether it's the corporate community or whether it's the amateur sport community. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, there is a need for having that flexibility, and we need to adapt ourselves to the direction being given by the health authorities. It's changing by the hour sometimes, and we have to react. And updates are happening now. Are going to start happening more regularly because things have changed dramatically. So we ask for some patience from the membership, because at the end of the day, we're trying to do the best we possibly can based on under the circumstances that we have, and we're trying to look for that guidance within the health authorities to make sure that the environment is safe and that we are all safe going forward. And I wish I could tell you that it's going to be X, Y, Z for the indoor season, but there is no guarantee of what it's going to look like. And we'll continue to work with our partners to figure it out and be flexible and adaptable as we need to be.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We don't want to set a date, because then we'll upset those that we make a date and we don't reach it. So I do believe we're on the right track when it comes to the indoor season. We still have a little bit of beautiful weather outside, Hector, and we've got a great event happening next weekend in conjunction or in association with the Hanover Soccer Group in Steinbach. Give us a bit on that festival that's going to be happening next weekend in Steinbach.
Well, the idea is again to continue with this, doing the festivals as much as possible. We are not doing as many as we wish we could throughout the province. This was an opportunity to work with one of our member organizations to put on a small festival for young athletes, grassroots athletes, and we're doing that hopefully next weekend. And I say hopefully because, again, right now the plan is to do it. However, things are changing daily. So if we hope we can do this, and if not, we will be advising the membership of any changes. We may have to potentially even break it up to smaller groups because of the restrictions that are being put forward by the health authorities. But as of now, this camp it's a grassroots festival where there's no winners or losers. This is just about enjoying the game and getting some education from coaches, and at the end, hopefully having young children fall in love with the game, to enjoy it, to play for the fun of it, and the wins and losses will eventually come by enjoying the game and loving the game and sticking to it for a lifetime. So that's the aim of festivals. The aim of festivals is to make you fall in love with the game and enjoy it with your friends and have fun doing it. So we hope that we can do that next weekend, and hopefully, that there's been a lot of cases in different parts of the province, and Hanover has been one of those areas where there's been some issues in the last little bit, but they're trying to get a handle on that. And if we have to cancel because it's not safe, we will do that to make sure that the safetyness is the most important thing for us as going forward here.
Absolutely. Safety and protocol following is key. With regards to the fall and the winter, any other camps that are occurring? I know we have a lot of online coaching clinics and player videos that are being submitted, whatnot. Anything else planned for the fall, Hector?
Well, we have the regular referee clinics have to start happening for the indoor season, and the referees who are coming back to referee indoor will need to be updated in the new revisions to the laws of the game and prepare for the season. We do a refresher course for them, and we also put on a new course for new referees who want to be indoor referees. So we'll be doing those things, as you mentioned. Coaching clinics and kind of courses have been put on by online courses, and we'll continue to do that as much as possible there. And eventually we will have to do some practical components to those courses that will probably take place sometime into December, January timelines, when Canada Soccer kind of allows us to do so. So we are continuing with that, and obviously we're starting our planning and programming ready for our high performance program that usually runs in the winter months, starting more or less in October and runs through the school year. and it's early in the mornings here at the Winnipeg Soccer Federation Soccer South facility. So we're planning all those things right now, and obviously trying to be flexible. Again, it's adaptable to what's going on, and working together with membership to ensure that the information is out there and get us ready for whatever plans we can come up with for those programs. And in the winter, hopefully, we're able to continue with our programming and not be affected too greatly by the pandemic. And I know we're all hoping that there's going to be some sort of shot that will fight off this virus and allow us to proceed as similar as we do with the flu shot. And it's probably going to become a norm in our society now. We'll have the flu shot and the COVID-19 shot, and hopefully that helps our sports community, not just soccer, but the entire sports community. Because I mean, there's a lot of sports in this province that are not going to have to go indoor, and volleyball, basketball, curling, hockey. You can think of many that depend on the indoor facilities being used, and swimming as an example. There's so many of them, and we have the fortunate opportunity in the summer to play outdoors, and we started with that, and it's gone well for all members, and we will hopefully be able to do the same thing for the indoor season.
Last question before I let you go, Hector, on a really good positive note. When you have a chance to visit the pitch and you see the youngsters coming back to play the game this summer, how great is it to see not only them smiling and competing and having fun, but also seeing the parents kind of have a sigh of relief saying, I'm happy to see my son or daughter being able to play the sport they love still.
No, it's been fantastic in that sense. And I mean, we know that the kids want to come back. You have to think about it. Go back to when the children stop hanging out with their friends. And that's with school. I mean, a lot of our players create friendships at school, create friendships in their sport environment. And we're going back to March when these children, no matter their age, stop going to school and stop playing sports. And it wasn't until July. That's a long time for the children not to be with their friends, not to be hanging out a bit, not to have fun. And it's important for the mental health well-being of the community. Not only the parents at home to get the kids out of the house.
Right.
But it's important for everyone in the community to see the children back on the field, participating, enjoying the game. And many kids have said it. They really don't care whether they win or lose right now. That's not the most important thing for them. And in some cases, some kids have said, and even some clubs have said, that at the end, even playing the games themselves is not the most important thing. They want to go to practices. You talk to some of the players, and you ask them, well, you want to miss the practice today? And I live this because I have children who play the game, and I tell you, they don't want to miss a practice. Sure, they don't want to miss a game either, but the practice is as important as, and why? Why is that? You ask the question, why is that important? Well, it's not so much it's about playing the game, but it's also about being with your friends and about the mental well-being that is important for them and for the community. So I'm very, very glad that we've been able to participate in outdoor soccer, and I'm hoping that we continue with that indoor competition. And I urge the parents, the players, the coaches, the administrators, the volunteers who are involved, the referees, follow the protocols. This is a very important thing to do right now, considering the circumstances in our province. Follow the protocol, follow the provincial health guidelines, keep the physical distancing, do the sanitation, wash our hands, and let's hope that by doing so, we're mitigating risk and we're allowing us to continue to play and participate in the sport that we love, as you mentioned, and that also leads us into the winter season. So very happy to see the kids back, see the coaches back and enjoying the game, and hopefully we can continue to do it. The opposite of that is things get really bad and we have to stop playing, and that's not good for anybody, and we don't want to see that. I plead with the membership and the parents and players out there to do the right thing, and follow the guidelines so that we can continue with the sport that we all love.
Hector, couldn't have ended it better. Thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to mention that's going on in the office there? I know you got a lot of memorabilia in the background, but what else? Anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
No, I mean, it's been busy. It's really crazy busy because of all the things that are happening, how fluid this is. It's difficult to plan, and as organizations, like every organization in our sport, we're going through preparations already for next year's budget process, and everybody is worried about, are we going to be able to play next year? And hopefully we find a solution. And I know that the medical world is working on this, and I'm sure they're putting every effort to come up with a solution, and that we all need. So we wish everybody all the best, and enjoy the rest of the outdoor season, and hopefully we'll see you in the indoor season.
Absolutely. Hector, thank you so much. Like you said, we'll talk to you in a little bit, probably in the next month or so. Hopefully we have some information on the indoor service, and as well as how well these outdoor festivals and leagues finished up. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Have a great weekend, Hector, and maybe turn the phone off for a bit and enjoy a little bit of sunshine.
Yeah, we'll try, but thanks for having us on again, and everybody enjoy the weekend, enjoy the rest of the summer. Take care.
Absolutely. Hector Vergara, MSA Executive Director here on ASTV Sportscast. Thanks for joining me, Hector. Have a great day.
Take care.